Okay, so this is your video on the review, sort of. All right, so let's see how many you got right. So let's start with the first one. So it's an equality. It's an equation, sorry. Um, and if you want to, remember, you can draw that line here. Separate the left side and the right side. And if you did your story, okay, we have a variable x, which is being multiplied by 8, and then subtract 40, and that equals negative 8. Going backwards, we're going to do plus 40 first, the inverse operation, right? The opposite of minus 4, we're going to do plus 40, and then, sorry, it was times 8, so we're going to divide by 8. So let's follow those steps. So the first thing is to add 40 on both sides. So these two cross out because it becomes 0. 8x comes down. Negative 8 plus 40, you're going to have a calculator, so use it. Negative 8 plus 40 is 32, positive. That's done. Check. We're going to divide both sides by 8. And x equals 4. So we need to check. So we're going to go back to our original equation, which was 8x minus 40 equals negative 8. We're going to replace, so x equals 4. So I'm going to replace the x here with 4. So I'm going to take 8 times 4 minus 40 equals negative 8. Please use your calculator. So on the calculator, put in this. 8 times 4 is 32. Minus 40 equals negative 8. So again, put this 32 minus 40 in the calculator, and 32 minus 40 is negative 8. And that equals negative 8 on the other side. So that we know it's correct. Next one, 6m minus 4. So again, we have to do the distributive property first, right? So it's a positive 6 times m is 6m. Positive 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. So we're multiplying, okay? Equals negative 28. So again, if you like, you can do the story. We have a variable m, which is being multiplied times 6 minus 24 equals negative 28. Going backwards, we're going to do inverse operation. The inverse operation of minus 24 is plus 24. And the inverse operation of times 6 is divide by 6. So let's do that. First thing I want to do is, well, if you like, you can put that line in the middle. Plus 24. Plus 24, you have a calculator. So minus 24 and 24 is 0. 6m comes down. Negative 28 plus 24 is just negative 4. Yeah. So m, divide both sides by 6 now, right? Because we did this, we're going to do that. Divide both sides by 6. This crosses out. Not because it becomes 0, but because 6 divided by 6 is 1, and we don't need to write 1m, or we can just write m equals negative 4 over 6, or negative 2 over 3rd, because we can simplify it, right? We can divide 4 by 2, which is 2, and 6 by 2, which is 3. So m equals negative 2 over 3. Go back to your original equation. Let's substitute. And 6, and instead of m, I'm going to replace this one again, negative 2/3 minus 4 equals negative 28. So one thing I've noticed that a lot of you are actually here, you're doing distributive property, multiplying 6 times negative 2/3 and 6 times negative 4. I think probably be easier if you took care of these two in your calculator. Negative 2/3 minus 4 would be negative 4 and 2/3 equals negative 28 on this side, right? So now you can multiply that on your calculator. And I don't have a calculator, so that hopefully should equal negative 28. So I'm going to change that to a mixed number. So 3 times 4 is 12. 12 and 2 is 14. That's 14 over 3 negative. We're going to multiply by 6, right? We can simplify before multiply. That 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 6 divided by 3 is 2, and 2 times negative 14 is negative 28. So we're good here. So I have a variable w. So again, if you want to make your story, I have a variable w, which is being multiplied by negative 3/5. That gives you 20. So this is one-step equation, right? Going backwards, I'm going to do the opposite. This is multiplied by negative 3/5. And we're going to divide that by negative 3/5. Divide that by negative 3/5. So just keep in mind that when we divide by a fraction, right? When we divide by a fraction, we're really multiplying by its reciprocal. So on this side, I'm going to multiply that by the reciprocal. And the reciprocal of 3/5 is 5/3. Negative 5/3 in this case, right? And I'm going to multiply the other side by the same thing, negative 5/3. Oh, if you notice, a negative and negative is going to be positive. Good. This 3 and this 3 can cancel out. And that 5 and that 5 can cancel out or simplifies to 1. And 1 over 1 is just 1, and 1 times w is just w. So a negative and a negative gave me a positive. I'm not even going to write that. So w equals, and on this side, 20, I'll put it over 1. And there's no simplifying, nothing can be simplified. 20 times negative 5 is negative 100 over 3. And I'm going to leave it like this instead of changing to a mixed number. Okay. Now, I got to check. So I'm going to take my original equation, equals 20. And where this w is, I'm going to replace it with negative 100 over 3. So I'm going to put negative 100 over 3. Equals 20. We're going to multiply, so a negative and a negative is a positive, right? This 3 and this 3 can simplify to 1. And then 100 and 105 can be also simplified. 5 divided by 5 is 1, and 100 divided by 5 is 20. So everything is 1, 1, 1, and the only number that I have here on top is a 20, so that it becomes 20. Okay, so our answer was correct. On this side, same thing. So now we have a variable k, which is being divided by negative 2 and then added to 4. Going backwards, we're going to subtract 4 and then times negative 2. Okay. So line in the middle, minus 4, minus 4. This will cross out to 0. I'll bring down k over negative 2. Negative 10 minus 4, right? It's going to be negative 14. Now I have to, what does it say? I did this, now I have to do this, which is multiplied by negative 2. So multiply by negative 2, multiply by negative 2. These two cross out, become 1, and I have k left over. And negative 14 times negative 2 is 28. Let's substitute. So again, let's go back to the original equation. And 28, so I'm going to replace, the k was 28, so I'm going to take the k out and replace it with 28. So this is going to become 28 over negative 2 plus 4 equals negative 10. You can definitely use a calculator. 28 divided by negative 2 is negative 14 plus 4 equals negative 10. Negative 14 plus 4 is negative 10, which equals negative 10 on the other side. So we know our work is indeed correct. Let's move on. Now these are, really? Only equations. I thought there'd be some inequalities. Shame. Again here, make your story. You have a variable y, which is being multiplied by 5, and then added 4, gave you negative 19. Going backwards, the inverse operation of plus 4 is negative 4, and times 5 would be divided by 5. So it's minus 4, minus 4. These two become 0. 5y comes down, and this is going to be negative 19, and negative 4 is negative 23. Divide both sides by 5. The 5 and 5 becomes 1, and then y equals negative 23 over 5, which we're going to leave it like this and not change it to a mixed number, only because it's easier when we substitute to what we call check. So the check, 5y plus 4 equals negative 19. We're going to take the y out and replace it with this. So So we get 5 times negative 23 over 5 plus 4 equals negative 19. Well, we gotta do this first, right? We gotta do these two first. Multiplication comes before addition. So over here we can simplify the 5 and a 5 here, right? And I have 1 left over and 1 left over. 1 times negative 23 is negative 23 plus 4 equals negative 19. And just to make sure, negative 23 plus 4 is negative 19, which equals negative 19 on the other side. I hope we see more inequalities, because that's definitely not enough. No, there's okay sign in the back. All right. So this one says, so let's solve this. So again, this one, if you want to make a story, you can. Just remember it's an inequality. So we have a variable m, which is being multiplied by negative 3, and that it's going to be less than negative 30. Going backwards, we're going to divide both sides by negative 3. So let's do that. So I'm going to divide this by negative 3, and I'm going to divide this by negative 3. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is just 1. That can cross out. I have m left over. Negative 30 divided by negative 3 is positive 10. And remember, when we divide both sides of an inequality by a negative number, that sign has to aim the other way. Graph. Here's 10, here's 11, here's 9, right? We're going to put a little circle on top of 10. So we want numbers, m is greater than 10. So numbers that are greater than 10. And numbers that are greater than 10 are obviously on this side. Do we shade? No, we don't. So that's it. Now, that's the graphing. We still got to check. So I want you to pick a value on this side that is greater than 10. Let's just pick 11, see what happens. So negative 3m is less than negative 30. And if we pick m equals 11, let's see if that works. Negative 3 times 11 is less than negative 30. Negative 3 times 11 is negative 33. And that is definitely less than negative 30. Check. Okay, again, variable a, which is being divided by 3, and then added 8, giving us 10. Going backwards, the inverse is minus 8, and then we're going to times 3. So first thing we do, you can draw that line in the middle. Minus 8, these two become 0. A over 3 equals 10 minus 8 is 2. Now we're going to do times. So this is done. So now we're going to do times 3 on both sides. So times 3 on this side. This 3 and this 3 will cross out, becoming 1. And I have A left over, the letter A. And then 2 times 3 is 6. Check. A over 3 plus 8 equals 10. We're going to replace this guy over here with 6. We're going to write 6 over 3 plus 8 equals 10. 6 over 3 is 2 plus 8 equals 10. 2 plus 8 is 10, which equals 10 on the other side. So now we want to translate this to an equation. Okay, so let's do that. 4 means 4. Less than means subtraction. Twice a number is 2 times a number. Put a little dot there. 2 times a number. Is, so that's this. Is equal, and 10 is 10. Are you done? Hopefully you know that you're not, because less than, it's a turnaround word, so we're going to switch positions. So the 2n is going to come in the front, and the 4 is going to come here. These two have to switch positions, and that equals 10. Okay, so that's our translation. Next one, the difference. Difference means subtraction. So we're going to be subtracting something, right? Subtracting two numbers. The difference of 3 times a number. So 3 is 3. So let me just do this again. So difference means subtraction. So we're going to be subtracting 3 times a number, 3n, and 6. So the difference of 3n and 6, that's what this says, equals 14. That was easy. Write and solve an equation for each situation. Sam bought X number of books. So we don't know how many books he bought, but he bought an X amount. The cost for each book was $7.99. She also paid a shipping fee for $5.99. And the total spent was $53.93. Write and solve an equation to find out how many books she could buy. So, how much was each book? $7.99. So, $7.99 times B, right? Representing the number of books that she bought. Plus, what else did she buy? She also has to pay for shipping fee, right? For the company to send the books to her. There is a postal fee, so it's going to be plus $5.99, and that's all equals. That's all gonna have to equal $53.93. So $7.99 times however many books she bought plus the post office fee of $5.99 equals $53.93. So let's find out how much she paid for each book. Again, story. You can do the story. You have a variable b times $7.99 plus $5.99 equals $53.93. So we're going to do the inverse operation. It's going to be minus $5.99 and then divided by $7.99. Let's do that. Minus $5.99 here and minus $5.99 here. Please line up your decimals. I know you're using a calculator, but just for habit's sake, line up your decimals. So this becomes 0. So I have $7.99b, because this is 0, equals 53.93 minus $5.99. So do I have a calculator? Yes, I do. Just give me a second. 53.93 minus 5.99. That's going to give us $47.94, right? So if I take the shipping, postal fee away from the total, I'm left with just the cost of the books. So the books in total cost $47.94. So how many books did I buy with $47.94 if each book was $7.99? Well, now I get to divide this by $7.99. And I divide this by $7.99. This becomes 1, b comes down, and 47.94 divided by 7.99 equals, 47.94 divided by 7.99 equals 6 books. But that's how many books she got. Next one. Taylor paid a car mechanic X amount of dollars, so an amount of dollars that we don't know, for a 6-hour job plus $35 per parts for the car. The total was $185, so equals $185. How much? Write an equation to find out how much the mechanic charged per hour. So we paid $185 in total. So the $185 was $35 for the parts of the car, the material, and then 6 hours times D for dollars, right? So he worked for 6 hours, making D amount of dollars for each hour. So let's find out. So you do the story. You have a variable D, which is being multiplied by 6 plus 35 equals 185. Going backwards is going to be minus 35 and then divided by 6. So first thing, minus 35, minus 35. You got 60 equals 150. And then we're going to divide this by 6, divide this by 6. This 6 divided by 6 is 1, so I have D left over, and 150 divided by 6. 150 divided by 6 equals 25. So how much did he make per hour? So per hour he makes $25 per hour. It's not bad. Kelly bought 4 red shoes and 2 red shoes for $24. Each shoe was the same price. Write an equation to find the cost of one shoe. This is a silly question, and I don't know why it's here. But so how many shoes did she buy in total? 6 shoes. 6 S for shoes equals 24. So 6 times S for shoes, right, equals 24. We want to find out how much was each shoe. So here's the story. I have my shoe, my S represents the shoe, times 6 equals 24. Going backwards, I'm going to divide this by 6. So divide this by 6. Dividing this by 6, those cross out. S equals $4, I guess, for the price of one shoe. I'm not too sure I understand the purpose of this question. Combine like terms, definitely on your test. So remember, this 7 outside is negative, okay? So negative 7 times 2m is negative 14m. Negative 7 times negative 5 is positive 35. Careful. There is no number outside here, but pretend there's a 1. I think it's easier if you can think about that. Think about it that way. So negative 1 times 9m is negative 9m. Negative 1 times negative 7 is positive 7. Now you get to add like terms, and because we have a calculator, it should not be that difficult. So this guy is this guy. That's negative 14m minus, so let me put a circle here, minus 9m, and then it's going to be this guy, plus 35, plus 7. So on the calculator, I want you to put these two first. Negative 14m and negative 9m is negative 23m. And then plus 35 plus 7 is plus 42. And that's our final answer. Again, same thing, put a 1 outside. So it's negative 1 and 7g, so it's negative 7g. Negative 1 times positive 3 is negative 3. Now we have a number outside the parentheses. Positive 3 times 12g is plus 36g. And then positive 3 times negative 15 is negative 45. Rearrange your expression so the like terms are together. So I have negative 7g. Let me circle this first. And plus 36g. And then minus 3 and minus 45. So now you can combine these two. Negative 7 plus 36, so just in your calculator, negative 7 plus 36 is going to be positive 19, 29, 29g. And then in the calculator, negative 3 minus 45 is negative 48. Careful here, it's a fraction, and be careful who you're multiplying. So the negative 7, it's not next to the parentheses, so it's negative 7 is going to stay outside. And you're going to multiply this guy right here. Negative 1/5 times 10. So that's a negative times a positive, so it's going to be negative. And 1/5 times 10m is going to be 2m. And then negative 1/5 times negative 20. Negative times a negative is positive, and 1/5 times 20, you can do that in your calculator, 1/5 times 20, and you're going to see that that equals 4. And then minus 8m. Do not multiply the 1/5 with the 8 because the 8 is not inside the parentheses. Combine like terms. Let's combine this guy and this guy. So we got -7 plus 4. And then we have -2m minus 8m. -7 plus 4 is -3. Put it down in the calculator. And -2 minus 8m is going to be -10m. Okay. Positive times a positive, 1/3 times 9. So in the calculator, you're going to put 1/3 times 9. And that's going to give you 3 and 3k. Don't forget the k. Positive times a negative is a negative. And 1/3 times 12 is going to give us 4. Then minus 15 plus 23k. Let's rearrange some of this stuff. So 3k plus 23k, 3k plus 23k, minus 4 minus 15. This is going to give us 26k. 3 plus 23 is 26, and then minus 4 minus 15 is just -19. Are we on time? 26 minutes. Jeez. Alright, so let's move on. So now we're doing inequalities. Okay. So Kim went bowling. He rented shoes for $4.75 and paid $5 per game. He had $30. What is the greatest number of games he could have played? Well, so the inequality is going to look something like this. He had $30. So whatever he spent has to be less than 30 or even equal to 30, right? Because it can't be greater than 30 because he doesn't have more than $30. So he can spend up to $30. So what did he spend? Well, he paid $5 per game, $5, and then here's your key word here, per game, per, which means multiplication, 5 times G. What else did he pay? He paid plus $4.75 for the shoes. Okay, so this is going to give us the number of games that he played. Again, you can do your story. It's variable G times 5 plus 4.75 less than 30 minus 4.75 and divide by 5. So if we do that, we're going to do minus 4.75 minus 4.75. So if you line up your decimals, okay, if you didn't have a calculator, that's how you would line them up. This becomes 0. I get 5G less or equal to 25.25. And if you divide that now, because we're dividing this by 5, and we're going to divide that side by 5, that becomes 1, or 1G, or just G, and divide it. So the number of games that he could have played was 5.05. So, but obviously you can't play 5.05 of a game, so the greatest number of games that he could have played was actually 5. Okay, he could have played up to 5 games. Cat needs 150 signatures from students. She already has 55 students. Cat and 3 friends will get the other signatures at lunch. Write an inequality to find the minimum number of signatures each person needs to get. So, we need to get signatures from students. Our signatures have to be greater than 150 or equal to 150, right? So 3, Cat and 3 of our friends. So a total of 4 people are going to get signatures. 4 times whatever the number of signatures that each person will get, plus the 55 that they already have to be greater or equal to 150. So if you did a story, I'll do the story here. Signatures, S times 4 plus 55 is greater than 150. Going backwards, we're going to do minus 55 and then divide by 4. So they already had 55 signatures, right? So which means they don't really need 150. They actually need 105 signatures. So we have 4 people getting signatures. So let's find out how many signatures each of those 4 people need. Divide by 4. Divide by 4, and S has to be, so the number of signatures each person has to get has to be greater than 26.25. So they need 26.25 signatures. Well, you can't get 26 signatures 0.25. So you need to get, each person needs to get 27 signatures. Okay. Solving graph. Mike wants to buy a PlayStation that costs PS4. PlayStation 4 that costs $500. He saved $80. He also works and gets paid $20 per hour at his job. How many hours does he have to work to save at least $500? So our inequality is going to look like this. He needs to get something. Whatever he makes has to be greater or equal to 500. So we can write the 80 first. He already has $80 saved up. So he needs the $80 plus all that time he's going to be working, and he's going to be working 20 hours, $20 per hour. Sorry. Okay, so $20 per hour plus the 80 that he already has to be greater or equal to 500. So how many hours does he need to work to get that? So minus 80. Minus 80. So he doesn't really need $500, right? Because he already has 80. 20h comes down. What he really needs is $420. So he works and earns 20 bucks per hour. How many hours would he need to reach 420? Divide that by 20. Divide that by 20. The 20s become 1. And 420 divided by 20 is h is greater or equal to 21. So he needs to work 21 hours or more to reach at least $500. Okay. Represent with inequalities. Give possible solutions. You must be at least 13 to watch the movie. So let's movie. Yeah. Let's pick a variable. You must be at least. We're talking about age. So the age and the number we're comparing to is 13. So what does your age have to be in order to watch this movie? Your age has to be at least 13, which means it has to be greater than 13 and or equal. At least 13 means that you can also be 13 and come watch the movie. So possible solution, you could be 14, you could be 15, you could be 16, and if you were to graph this, the ages of the people who can watch this movie would be 13, and we're going to shade it and over. The car carries at most 2,000 pounds. At most means that if it was more than 2,000, it's not going to work. So 2,000 on one side, I like to do this where my variables on the left and my numbers on the right. So here's my car, and my car carries at most 2,000 pounds. So the weight of the car is greater, or is it less? Well, in this case, it has to be less than 2,000 or even equal to 2,000. Possible weight, so it could be 1,500, 1,600, 1,800 if you were to graph this. The weight of the car could be 2,000 and less. You must be 12 and under to eat for free. So 12 and under, you could be 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, and you would eat for free. So, and again, Alright, F for free. And 12 is the number I'm comparing that to. So in order for me to eat for free, what do I have to be in comparison to 12? I have to be less than 12. Or I can even be under 12. So to eat free food at this restaurant, I can be anything under 12. 12, 11, 10, 12, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. To get our price, you must spend at least $50. So to get a price, so here's my $50. I'm going to use P for price. So in order to get this price, what do I have to do? Do I have to spend 50 and above, or 50 and under, or above 51, or below 50? So I must spend at least 50. Means that I have to spend 50, 51, 52, 100, 1,000, anything above 50, I get a price. So whatever, in order to get the price, my spending has to be greater than 50, or even equal to 50. Simplify. Just combine like terms again, I guess without parentheses. Okay. So I would move things around. So 7 and 11 are next to each other. Let me move that 12 here, and then that minus 18. So I move this all the way here to the back. Now I can add these two. 11 plus 17 is 18n. And then 12 minus 18 is positive 12 minus 18. It's going to give you negative 6. Remember, I cannot combine these two because they're not like terms. Let me move things around. Again, please be careful when you move around because you're moving also the sign that comes right before it. So it's 8m minus 19m. Move the negative 3 to the back and the minus 23 right next to it. You combine these two. 8m minus 19m is 11m. Negative 3 minus 23, if you put that in the calculator, it's going to give you negative 26. Solve and check. Just give myself a little bit more room. So this should be really easy for you guys right now. 2w. Positive times a negative is a negative. 2 times 5 is 10. Plus 2 equals 20 plus 4w. I did the distributive property. Check. Can I combine like terms? I can. So 2w, I'm going to combine these two. Negative 10 plus 2 is negative 8. Equals 20 plus 4w. I combine like terms. Then I can get rid of one of the variables. There's a variable here and a variable there. I don't care who you can. I usually get rid of the small one, or let's get rid of the 2w. So minus 2w, minus 2w. These two go bye-bye. Negative 8 is left over. 20 comes down, and 4 minus 2w is plus 2w. Now it becomes a two-step equation. Write your story down if you so choose to do so. Here's my variable w multiplied by 2 plus 20 gives you negative 8. Going backwards is going to be minus 20. Divide by 2. Now, if you don't like it this way, all you gotta do is just switch sides. Okay, it's the same thing. So you can either work with the variable on the left or the variable on the right. It doesn't really make a difference. So we're gonna do minus 20 on that side. These two go bye-bye. I have 2w left over. Negative 8 and negative 20 is negative 28. Check. Divide by 2 now. Divide this by 2. Divide this by 2. These two cross out, becoming 1. I have w. And negative 28 divided by 2 is negative 14. On this side is 3. Again, distributive property. 3 times k. Positive times a negative is a negative. Minus 6. 3 times 2 is negative 6. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Plus 2 equals 14 minus 6k. 3k, combine these two, right? Negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4, equals 14 minus 6k. So I did the distributive property, I combine like terms, now I have a variable on each side. So in this case, you know what? Let's get rid of the 6k, minus 6k. So I do plus 6k on this side, and plus 6k on this side. These two will go bye-bye. 14 comes down. So I got 3k plus 6k is 9k minus 4. Now I have a story. Variable k times 9 minus 4 equals 14. Going backwards, we're going to do the inverse operation, which is going to be plus 4 divided by 9. So plus 4 first. Separate this into left side and right side. Plus 4. Plus 4. Minus 4 and plus 4 is 0. 9k comes down. 14 plus 4 is 18. Now I have to divide by 9. Divide by 9. Divide by 9. If I divide k and 18 divided by 9 equals 2. Notice I didn't check. I'll leave that up to you. On the test, you have to. Okay. Alright, not too many left. So I have 2 inequalities now. Solve, graph, and check. Procedure is the same, except that it has an equality sign. So I got negative 2, 10. I'll do the distributive property here. Negative 2 times n is negative 2m. Negative 2 times negative 8 is plus 16. Less than 20. Combine like terms. We're going to combine this guy with this guy. Negative 10 plus 16 is somewhere around negative m. And then negative 10 plus 16 is plus 6. Less than 20. Write your story. Variable m times negative 2 plus 6 less than 20. Going backwards, we're going to do minus 6 and then divide by negative 2. So we're going to do minus 6. Let me change colors here. Minus 6. Minus 6. So these two become 0. Negative 2m comes down. Less than 20 minus 6 is 14. Now I have to divide by negative 2. Divide by negative 2. Remember, when you divide by both sides by a negative number in an inequality, you must flip the sign. So negative 2 divided by negative 2 becomes positive, and I get m left over. The sign's going to switch, and 14 divided by negative 2 is negative 7. You want to graph that? Negative 7, negative 8, negative 6. Be careful how you graph your negative numbers. It has to go that way because m has to be greater than negative 7, and numbers that are greater than negative 7s are on the right side. So pick a number. So I'm going to actually check this. So negative 10 minus 2, m minus 8 less than 20. So if I were to check, I would pick 0. 0 is on this side. Right, so I'm going to replace the m with 0. So negative 10 minus 2, and I get 0 minus 8 inside the parentheses. Negative 10 minus 2, 0 minus 8 is negative 8. I'm going to leave that in parentheses, less than 20. I have to multiply first, right? Order of operations, right? So negative 10 still is just not doing anything. So a negative times a negative is a positive, so plus 16, less than 20. Negative 10 plus 16 is positive 6, and is 6 less than 20? Yes, it is. So we know we did our problem correctly. Okay, so distributive property, no. Can we combine like terms? Also no. So we can go straight to getting rid of one of the variables. So just for argument's sake, let's just get rid of the negative 8x. I'm going to do plus 8x on this side. Okay, so I know I usually say we go with a smaller one, but technically negative 8x is the smaller number. So these two is 0. Negative 8x plus 8x is 0. 14 comes down. Negative 8x and 8x plus 8x is positive 4x, because negative 4 plus 8 is positive 4, and negative 10 comes down. Story. Variable is x is being multiplied by 5, subtract 10 is supposed to be greater than 14, going backwards. We're going to do plus 10 first and then divide by 4. So let's do that. Plus 10, plus 10, in the middle, right? Greater than 14 plus 10 is 24. Negative 10 plus 10 is just 0, so we don't have to write it. And then 4x comes down. Now I have to divide by 4. Divide by 4. Those two become 1. X is greater than 24 divided by 4 is 6. So that's what it looks like. Let's graph this. 6, 7, 5. Put a circle on top of 6, and we want numbers greater than 6 and numbers greater than 6. And that's all. So it says to check. So pick a number on the right side. I don't know. I'm going to pick 10. Okay, so x equals 10 for me. I pick a number. So 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to pick this guy right here. I'm going to substitute in that inequality on top. So I'm going to get negative 4x. Sorry. No, negative 4x minus 10 equals greater than 14 minus 8x. So wherever you see an x, I'm going to replace it with 10. So negative 4 times 10 minus 10 greater than 14 minus 8 times 10. I replace the x with 10. Multiply. Negative 4 times 10 is negative 40 minus 10. Negative 40 minus 10 is negative 50. On this side, it's 14 minus 8 times 10 is 80. And then 14 minus 80 is 66. Negative 66. And negative 50, it is definitely greater than negative 66. Remember, with negative numbers, the smaller you are, the bigger your value. Are we done? No, we're not done. Of course we're not done. Ash hosted a party. He rented a restaurant for $350. The restaurant also charged $5.75 per person that he invited. He spent a total of that much, $493.75. Write in and solve an equation to find the number of people that were invited. Well, let's see how much he spent. He spent a total of $493. So that was his total. So the total was made of what? Well, he rented a whole restaurant. So that was $350 just for the restaurant. Plus $5.75 per person that invited. So this equaled $493.75. So minus $350. Let's go straight to business here. And I'm going to do minus $350 on this side. These two become 0. 350 minus 350 is 0. And then I have 5.75p. So if I, from the total, if I subtract what I paid just to rent the restaurant, which is going to be $343.75, that's how much I spent on the guests, right? At $5.75 per person. How many people were invited? Well, divide that by 575. Divide this by 575. 575 divided by 75 is 1, or just 1, or just p. And 143 divided by 75, 143.75. 143.75 divided by 5.75 equals 25. So how many people are invited? 25 people are invited. And finally, last question. Mark at 28. He's going to buy boxes of chocolate that cost $3.75. He's also going to buy a gallon of milk. Right, and solve an inequality to find out the maximum number of boxes of chocolate that he can buy. Okay. So this one, it's an inequality. So Yes, $28. So let's see, can we go over? No. So everything that he spent has to be under or less than 28, or even equal to 28. Okay. So what did he buy? He's going to buy boxes of chocolate, so more than one box. So each box of chocolate is $3.75 times C, the number of chocolates, plus what else he's going to buy? A gallon of milk, which costs $4.25. So all that will be less or equal to $28. So let's see how many boxes of chocolate he was able to buy. So you write your story. C times 3.75 plus 4.25 is 28, less or equal to 28. Going back, you subtract 4.25, and then you're going to, sorry, I forgot times, you're going to divide by 3.75. Minus 4.7, minus 4.25, minus 4.25. Line up your decimals. This becomes 0, so I bring 375C down, less or equal, and then here becomes 23.75. So he had $28. If you take away the $4.25 he spent on the milk, he has $23.75 left to spend on chocolate. So divided by 3.75, so if you divide this by 3.75, and you divide this by 3.75, how many boxes of chocolates could he have bought? So C, and if you put that in your calculator, you're going to get 6.3333, and put a bar like that. So how many boxes of chocolate did he buy? He bought 6, because he can't buy 6.33, so the maximum number of whole boxes of chocolates that he could buy was 6. Okay, so what I like you to do is, obviously, if you've been correcting or just checking all your work, send me a message via the class website letting me know which section or which areas you would like to work more on next week. Okay?